With the Oblivion remaster now officially out, there has been a great reception towards old school titles, juggernauts of yesterday. I find myself wondering whether this desire for something familiar but yet new is yet another indication of the old cliche. The gaming scene was better back in the noughties. It's easy to understand this rationale. Oblivion doesn't seem to be alone in this latest wave of remasters and remakes, with the release of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 and Metal Gear Snake Eater coming around the corner. In particular, with the Oblivion remaster's near silent drop onto the market, the release announcement trailer involving Patrick Stewart's stellar voice acting as Uriel Septim has cemented itself in my brain as one of the classics and had me reminiscing with my brother about other video game introductions such as Halo 2, Halo 3, the Mass Effect trilogy and CoD 4. All these games fell within a good 8-year period during what felt like the height of the console wars. Watching Halo 3's opening sequence accompanied by Marty O'Donnell and Michael Salvatore's carefully plucked strings and soft choir alone makes me want to replay the game for the millionth time, just for the quality and care within the cutscenes alone. Introductions like that felt newcomer friendly and yet effectively acted as a brief recap of Halo 2 and established the tone of the final game in the trilogy to finish the fight. It wasn't just introductions that felt better back then, adverts felt more commonplace alongside product partnerships and merchandise. But here's the thing, I know we are bombarded by more adverts now than then. So why do classics such as the Gears of War trailer and the Halo Reach Deliver Hope advert live rent-free within my memories? Part of this could be due to all these games being part of my core teenage years, but here is why these intros and adverts worked. They added emotion, demonstration of craft, care and originality that helped build the hype. These adverts also helped to set the tone of the game, with both the Gears and Halo Reach adverts oozing of desperation and juxtaposed with a message of a battle for the greater good. Such classic adverts were well crafted with their cinematics and soundtracks that have easily forged a lasting memory that many people of today, even those within their early 20s, seek. Of course, I also need to acknowledge the Halo 3 Believe and Halo 3 We Are ODST adverts, which were pure cinema. Maybe some of the reason as to why we don't see these memorable introductions and adverts so much anymore could be down to the fact that gaming is different today. A shift in the market perhaps. Companies seem to be focused on profitability and microtransactions. This gives pause to thoughts though. It's ironic that gamers crave an Oblivion remaster, a game infamously known for its controversial horse armor DLC back in 2006. Just for a couple of pounds, you got purely cosmetic armor for your horse in a single player game, widely seen as one of the very first and most debated microtransactions that paved the way for today's practices, where we are bogged down in what appears to be a torrent of awful mobile phone games full of quick dopamine hits in the form of drop boxes, loot boxes, battle passes and other seemingly predatory tactics that aim to get you to part with more cash. But some of the reason why we don't see these adverts and big game introductions could be arising from the myriad of information and platforms for adverts and gaming in general, with large shifts in gaming towards tailoring for the masses instead of the individual. This makes sense to me. I myself haven't picked up a gaming magazine in around 15 years and probably like you, the viewer, only knew about the Oblivion remaster through the silent release announcement. And let's not forget about the importance of E3 back in the day. There's no real equivalent event that holds that once juggernaut status, informing us of the latest and greatest. Releases these days feel different, perhaps even smaller and organic rather than grandiose. But not all of today's gaming scene is dominated by the lack of catering for individual experiences. Recent titles like Baldur's Gate 3, Clair Obscura and Balatro have proved this kind of success isn't just nostalgia. These recent games in particular, with their incredible reception driven by word of mouth rather than just ads, show a massive appetite for original gameplay, player choice, and that craft and care for you, the gamer. With Baldur's Gate 3 and Larian Studios in particular, their commitment during its long early access and their extensive post-launch support really highlighted that gamers still value and talk about titles that treat them with respect. The word-of-mouth nature formed itself in its most modern form of advertising, through you, the customer. Countless streams, forums, YouTubes, and TikToks hyped the game up. It became the hottest property to try out, and many did. But nostalgia, as with the Oblivion and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 remakes, are a near proven success for developers, as it doesn't need to establish a new relationship with you, the player. It feeds off of it. Whilst I find myself looking back on the noughties and early 10s gaming period as a peak of great gaming, I find myself not having to actively seek good games anymore. Good games have instead found me. This builds on the word of mouth aspect that has helped Baldur's Gate 3, Claire Obscure and Balatro recently, and it's also why other should have been successful titles, Halo Infinite, the latest COD, and Assassin's Creed, have not always made it into my library. Games such as Baldur's Gate 3, Claire Obscura and Balatro are the modern day classics, and even if you don't like these games, you can respect the approach and dedication provided by the developers, which have created hype and caused word of mouth. Whilst the Oblivion remaster and the up and coming other remakes will definitely scratch an itch and provide access for newer gamers, it leaves the longing for more original releases. Games driven by craft and care, and not just those hunting for easy cash.